All right, Barrister, now let's go on with our conversation. I'm sure you know that Edoze Njoku is still laying claim to the leadership of APGA. So how do you intend to reconcile the aggrieved parties?
If you did listen to my, my acceptance speech at the National Convention, I did extend what I may call a handshake or an olive branch to all aggrieved persons, if I may use that word, because I wouldn't want to begin to delve into certain issues surrounding the leadership of APGA. Like I told you, I was part of the administration that just wound up. The fact remains that we maintained quite clearly and elaborately that Edoze Njoku was, or at that time, is not a member of APGA. But the fact remains, like I said earlier on the day of my election as the national chairman, that if for any reason Edoze Njoku wants to key into the project we have for APGA, because I did make it, elaborately clear that if Edoze Njoku is interested in the affairs of the party, he has a very simple option. And that simple option is to join hands with leadership of APGA as elected at the National Convention of the party held in Awka on the 31st of May to talk about how to move the party forward. And that's very simple. So issue of laying claim for whatever reason, and I wouldn't want to go into certain issues beneath this whole so-called laying claim, because these things are just for monetary benefit. And that's not the reason why we are here. We are here to build the party. We are here to move the party forward. We are here to say, what has APGA not done right? What has APGA done right? APGA has been in existence for about 21 years now, from its formation in 2002. And it is for us to say, look, we're looking at the manifesto of the party, looking at the constitution of the party, what have we done wrong over the years? And how do we key into the quest for good leadership by Nigerians? That's our business. Our business is to satisfy the quest and the yearnings of Nigerians for a progressive-minded political party. And I believe that Edoze Njoku and his so-called faction, if they are interested really in having APGA as a true political party of progressive-minded Nigerians, then the only option they have is to join us and build a lasting political party that we all can be proud of. And I can tell you that, yes, everybody has his or our own usefulness. And we're ready to key into his wealth of experience. If he has anything to offer, he should bring it to the table. We're ready to listen to him. We don't know if
but Barrister Snai,
but I can tell you that Edoze Njoku is not the national chairman of the party. Has never
Barrister Snai, why has it become difficult? I hear you, but why has it become difficult for APGA to resolve issues with the Edoze Njoku faction?
It is very simple, like I said earlier on. It is not difficult on our part. I always say there are some people that have the penchant for mischief. Like I said earlier on, what do we do if someone decides, oh, I don't want to be part of what you're doing? You went to court after the Supreme Court corrected its judgment. And the Supreme Court made it clear in the ruling that the correction was in respect of the background facts as averred by the plaintiffs at the trial court in Jigawa. And they went on further in the ruling of the court to state clearly that the correction, because we call it an accidental slip. I'm a lawyer. By its very nature, an accidental slip is a slip which, if corrected, will not change the character or substance of the judgment of the court. So, if you are claiming that the Supreme Court, by that correction, pronounced you the national chairman of the party, it means the core essence of that judgment has been altered. It can no longer be an accidental slip. It can no longer be a correction of a mere typographical error. It becomes review of judgment. And what did the Supreme Court do on the 24th of March 2023? It was not a review. There are conditions that must be present before the Supreme Court can review its judgment. What the Supreme Court did was to correct a mere slip in the course of its judgment it delivered, I think, on the 14th of October 2021. And the Honorable Justice that delivered the judgment stated expressly. So this issue of Edoze Njoku going back and forth, I don't know the purpose he wants to serve. I don't know what his problem is. But it is not for us. As far as we are concerned, APGA is one united, and that's why I said quite elaborately, if he's interested in the future of APGA, then he should key in with the leadership of the party and proffer any solution he thinks he has with respect to how to move APGA forward. It's a very simple thing. But for me to stay here and start saying, oh, how do we get involved with Ezeonkenwa? How do we? He is not he has never been the national chairman of the party. Victor Ye was elected the national chairman and was re-elected on the 31st of May 2019. Clearly, if you say you are the national chairman, tell us where you conducted your convention. Tell us whether INEC monitored your convention. As I speak to you, there has never been any pronouncement of any court of law that Ezeonkenwa is the national chairman of APGA. Even the judgment he is referring to by Justice Madugu, he never pronounced him national chairman. He was not even a party to the proceedings in court. So, there is no way we can retrieve someone's penchant for mischief. If you want to be mischievous, fine and good, that is your business. But as far as we are concerned, we are moving forward with our agenda and our manifesto for the party. So all these things for me are unnecessary distraction, which I don't intend to bother me. That's why when they say these things, of course, I know about the matter pending in Buhari at that time. I had the option to join, but for me, there was no business. There has been pronouncement by superior courts of record. So why am I bothering myself with Ezeonkenwa? Let's talk about
All right, Barrister Sly. All right, then. Let's move on to other issues. Anambra State Governor Chukwuma Soludo is the national leader of APGA. How will you describe your relationship with him as the national chairman?
Very cordial relationship. Of course, you may be aware, prior to my election as the national chairman of APGA and before I resigned, I served as a commissioner in the Soludo administration from inception. I was the commissioner for special duties before I resigned prior to my assumption of office as the national chairman of the party. And I can tell you, Soludo has been very supportive of the administration of the party. Of course, in his capacity as a national leader, if you read the constitution of the party, particularly Article 10 that provides for the office of the national leader of the party, he is that person who represents the ideals of the party. He is the image of the party. And as far as we are concerned in APGA, he is that leader that we are proud of. Because if you key into the 5 pillars of Soludo administration, you will understand. I can tell you, APGA has been blessed, especially in Anambra State. We produce a set of leaders who have keyed into the core mantra of APGA in the sense of being a people-oriented party. That mass movement for the peasants, for the farmers, for the poor people. And Soludo, as I speak to you, has been delivering on his agenda for Anambra State in creating a livable and prosperous homeland, which we are very, very proud of. And what are we saying? We are saying, come and look into the APGA model in Anambra State. And that is the Soludo model. And that is our greatest brand. So I can tell you that we have a very cordial relationship in terms of his relationship with the structures of the party at every level, be it at the ward, the local government, the state, and the national. And it's a very cordial relationship. And we're building on his quite huge and humongous image to attract men and women of goodwill into APGA.
All right. Having said that, I would like you to react to this. Some analysts say, as the former commissioner for special duties under Governor Soludo, you may not be able to exert much influence on the governor and the party. How will you react to this?
Sorry, I didn't get your question very well.
All right. Some people say, some analysts say, as the former commissioner for special duties under Governor Soludo, you may not be able to exert much influence on the governor and the party. How will you react to this?
Well, I wouldn't understand what you mean by exerting much influence on the governor. For us, APGA is a political party and is a vehicle for attainment of political power. And what do we demand from Governor Soludo? It's very simple. Deliver on your mandate, on your manifesto to the people of Anambra State. So it's not an issue of whether you're trying to exert influence or whether you're not trying to exert influence. Of course, if you recall, from the formation of APGA, from the times of Governor Peter Obi to Governor Willie Obi and now Governor Soludo, APGA has been consistent in providing good leadership in Anambra State. And that's why I said We always invite other states of the Federation to look at the Anambra model and key into the APGA model of leadership. Of course, you know, in other political parties, we have all these bickerings back and forth about settlement and all whatnot. We don't have it in APGA. So the issue, that's why over the years, you don't find any friction between the party and the state governor. Because our quest is very simple. What do we want? We want you to deliver on your manifesto. It's very simple. And as far as we are doing that, we don't have any problem with you. So there is absolutely no problem, and there is no need to exert influence on Governor Soludo. In fact, what APGA is trying to do is to market or key into the noble gesture and how Soludo has already started, he's just celebrated 1 year in office, and he will really announce his achievement within 1 year in office. In fact, for example, it's unprecedented in the history of this country that you have a governor who within 1 year in office has awarded over 300 kilometers of road. And as I speak to you, close to 100 kilometers of those roads have been commissioned. It's unprecedented. So why do we need to bother him? He is our greatest brand. So we're leveraging on his good image in attracting other men and women of goodwill into APGA. So there is absolutely no need for us to exert any influence on anybody.
All right.
APGA is simply here to provide leadership.
All right, Barrister Sly. So let's talk about the challenge of repositioning your party. APGA is one of the oldest political parties in the country, but yet to take its influence outside the Southeast. What are your plans to make the party much bigger?
Like I said earlier on, over the years, the major problem which I identified, of course, I'll try as much as possible to make a copy of my manifesto available. And I did identify what has been the problem with APGA over the years. Because if you understand the core problem of the party, you'll be able to know how to provide a solution to those issues. And one of the problems of the party is that APGA has always been viewed as that political party with its core interests around the Southeast region. Of course, the only state APGA has produced governors has only been Anambra and Imo. Former Governor Rochas Okorocha was elected on the platform of APGA. Unfortunately and very sadly, he left the party after a few years in office. So what we want to do is very simple. We want to provide or want to build APGA as a viable alternative or a credible opposition. And what do we want to achieve? It's very simple. We want to say, look, this is a political party that is conscious of the welfare and interests of all Nigerians, especially the young persons. And that's how we are trying to reach out to Nigerians from all walks of life, from all spheres of life. And we are saying, come, join us. We want to build that political platform, that formidable and veritable platform that any Nigerian can aspire to any political office and achieve his political mission in Nigeria. And that's the only thing we are going to do. So first of all, we are going to embark on a massive membership drive. And how do we intend to achieve that? We intend to key into technology. Of course, very soon, in the next maybe one or 2 weeks, we are going to launch our nationwide membership drive. And we are going to key into technology. We are going to be the first political party that will have to do an electronic registration of membership all over the country. That is what we are talking about. That is the purpose of leadership. That is innovation at its peak. So there is absolutely nothing else we are going to do that we are going to have an outreach to have a handshake across the Niger. People from all walks of life, other geopolitical zones. We are pleading with our brothers from all over the country. Please join us in our quest to build a livable and prosperous homeland. And that homeland is no longer Governor Soludo's quest for Anambra. We want to extend it to the entire Nigeria.
All right. So it's also important to say this. To many, the roadmap to take APGA beyond the Southeast, making it a true national party, should be the task ahead of you. And others have also said the party needs someone who will prepare it for a greater achievement. I mean, a pragmatic and dynamic leader who has a 21st century mentality. Thankfully, you're young. So how committed are you to achieving this?
I can tell you that I'm very much passionate and committed about this. Like I said earlier on, our greatest brand is Governor Soludo. Of course, his achievement within the period he was governor of Central Bank is there for all to see. They're still unprecedented. I don't think anybody has been able to surpass those achievements till date, as far as the Central Bank of Nigeria is concerned. And then within 1 year in office, he has started on a very good note. And that is the brand we are talking about. That is the brand that we plan as a political party to leverage on. And like I said during my acceptance speech, I'm a very young person. I have the energy, I have the zeal, I have the experience because I've been around the party. I started from the grassroots. I was first a member of the party, just a nominal member whose membership is in the roll, and I've tried to play various parts within my own part in getting the party to where it is today. I've served as a state officer of the party in Anambra State. I've served as a national officer of the party. I've served as a commissioner in Anambra State, and today I'm the national chairman of the party. And I can tell you that I'm devoted 100%, 24 hours 7 to making this come true. Because how do you do this? It's a very simple thing. Very simple thing. Nigerians, like I said earlier on, have been yearning under the groan of bad leadership in the country. The insecurity is there, and so many other things. In terms of, if you look at the poverty index, look at the inflation rate in the country, and so many ills the country is currently groaning under. And how do we do this? I intend to move around the country. I intend to say, please, let other young persons, let other people who are young like me come in and join us in building that viable Nigeria that we all can be proud of. There's something, always, whenever my governor says this, I always feel very emotional. Nigeria is probably the only country in sub-Saharan Africa whose past is better than its present. And we cannot allow that to continue. So how do we intend to achieve that? It's a very simple thing. We intend, like I said earlier on, we intend to embark on a massive membership drive. We want to preach that goodwill message of APGA to every nook and cranny of this country. And like I said earlier on, I am committed and passionate about this. In fact, I dream about this every day. I dream about this every night. And I will play my part in making sure that I bequeath a better society for my children. Much, much, much better than what I, witnessed and grew up under. And that is my dream. That is my quest. That is my passion. And I will not stop until I achieve this.
All right. Tonight we're discussing progressive opposition politics in Nigeria with Barrister Ezeonkenwa, the national chairman of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, APGA. We'll take a commercial break and I'll be right back. Please stay with us. Thank you very much for staying with us. I've been speaking with Barrister Ezeonkenwa, the national chairman of the All Progressive Grand Alliance. Tonight we're discussing progressive opposition politics in Nigeria. All right, Barrister Sly, APGA didn't do well in the last election, which many blame on the defection of former governor Peter Obi, who was a governor under the party. Now, don't you see Obi and Labour as big threats to APGA's well-being? And what strategy would you deploy to ensure APGA controls Southeast as its home base?
Well, for me, like I said earlier on, the movement that propelled the Labour Party during the last election was a movement that was fueled by the quest for good leadership. You know, most people believe that the country didn't really fare well under the last administration, especially the level of insecurity all over the country, and it appears as if the leadership of the country at that time was highly insensitive with regards to the insecurity issues and other issues that really affected the country. And then there was the quest for an innovative leadership, one in which the people could probably trust in, and that propelled the movement during the last election. And of course, you saw the impact. For the first time, we saw a real third force in the sense that it was no longer probably a two-horse race, but it was now a three-horse race. And what is APGA doing? That's why, like I said earlier on, what APGA has done has been to sit down, go back to the drawing table, look at the issues surrounding the leadership of Nigeria, look at the issues surrounding the yearnings of young Nigerians, especially young Nigerians, about leadership in the country. And they've come out to key in by electing a crop of young Nigerians into the national executives of the party, or national working committee of the party. This is the first time we are seeing a young set of Nigerians occupying, sensitive positions, very sensitive and delicate positions in the national working committee of a political party, of a major political party in Nigeria. Now, what is the next agenda moving forward? It's a very simple thing. It has shown that what Nigerians need is good leadership, effective leadership, nothing more, nothing less. And it was that quest for good leadership that they believed, there was a particular presidential candidate who've looked at his antecedents. And mind you, the antecedent they talked about were the antecedent that the former Governor Peter Obi had while he was in office as governor of Anambra State under the platform of APGA. Because I keep saying it, I say it with every sense of responsibility. Whatever achievement, whatever leadership quality that you attribute to former Governor Peter Obi were qualities, sterling qualities he achieved while in office as a governor elected on the platform of APGA. And what have we now come to do? We've come to own up that leadership because it is a leadership fueled by APGA. And we are saying, yes, we've been, let me use the word minting. We've been minting good leaders in Anambra State under the platform of APGA. And we are now saying, come and look into the Anambra model. In fact, what we have now is unprecedented. Come and look at the administration of Governor Soludo. Look at these areas. Look at this. For example, let me give you one very key area that most people are not even talking about. Just one key area. Governor Soludo has developed a roadmap to move majority of households and families in Anambra State from the realm of poverty into the realm of prosperity. And how does he want to achieve that? Very simple. We are starting a silent agricultural revolution. Within the past 1 year, Anambra State has shared over 2 million seedlings of palm and coconut. Any family that has been able to get just about 5 or 10 of these seedlings in the next 3 years, because this is a hybrid, a very good breed that came in from Malaysia, within the next 3 years, we have been able to eradicate or move itself from the poverty realm. So that's what we are talking about. That's what, when you talk about innovative leadership, you must be that leader that really talks and thinks about the people. And that's what we are offering within APGA as a model. Now, what we are doing is very simple. We want to extend our reach within and outside the Southeast. So we're no longer looking at a political party with its concentration in the Southeast. We want to expand, and we want to build the structure of the party around the young persons. During the last election, the demographics and the data that we have, or statistics from the last election, showed that over 65 to 70% of the voters during the last general election We are people aged between the 18 and 40 years.
All right, Barrister Sly, because of time, let me quickly bring in more questions. We're gradually running out of time. Now, quickly, would APGA in the near future consider merging with mega parties like ACN, ANPP, CPC merge to form APC?
I can tell you that there is no, because when you talk about in the near future, it would be for me to begin to enter into the realm of speculation. APGA presently is not considering merger with any political party. We're building a political party, a veritable platform for young, progressives all over the country. So presently, such issue is not on our table. We are considering anything about merger with any political party presently. So for to talk about the future, that would be me descending into the realm of speculation, which I don't know.
All right, so quickly, let's talk about progressive opposition politics. How do we engender this in the country? And with a new administration in place in the country, I mean, the country will require a strong opposition to put the government on its toes. How ready is APGA for this task?
Well, the readiness of APGA depends, like I said earlier on, a lot depends on, because for you to say anything or do anything, you must participate actively in the decision-making process. Presently, APGA has some members in the House of Reps, and I think we'll just have one senator, Senator Ezeonkenwa Abaribe, elected on the platform of the party. But I can tell you, I always make reference to my acceptance speech. There are some key areas that we expect to see this administration do. And if they don't do that, we always voice out our opposition to certain policies of the government that we feel are probably anti-people. Let me give you an example. We as a political party, we commend the bold decision of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, talking about President Bola Tinubu, to really grapple with this issue that have been surrounding the deregulation of the downstream sector within the Nigerian political system. And this issue has been on the front burner for some years now, the whole criminality surrounding the subsidy regime. So for me, it was a very bold and courageous decision. The only issue we had with it, as far as I'm concerned, was implementation.
Barrister Sly, thank you very much. Sadly, we're out of time. We're out of time. Thank you very much. I've been speaking with Barrister Sly Ezeonkenwa. Tonight, we discussed the progressive opposition politics in Nigeria. Thank you very much for coming on Politics Tonight, and I wish you well in this task of repositioning APGA. Thank you so much for being on the program.
Very much for having me.